This is Pop Culture on Blast. Hey, this is Josh.
This is Justin.
And I'm Tim.
I think we should talk about the very recent news that during the Oscars, they had sent out a statement or something to that effect saying that they were going to take out some of the, I'll say, bigger categories and relegate them to during commercial breaks. In other words, they would not be part of the televised broadcast. And a couple of the major awards that they were going to take out of our normal viewing were Best Cinematographer or Best Cinematography and Best Editing. I mean, those are the two big ones that stood out to me. And I want to say, and Tim, correct me where I'm wrong on this, it was maybe 2 or 3 days later, where the backlash was so strong that the people behind the Oscars turned around and said, no, never mind. We'll put them back. It's all okay now. Does that sound about right? 2-3 days?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And Tim, I think you had told me that some of the like big heavy hitters, your Oscar-winning directors, Spielberg, so on, they were among the people that objected.
Yeah, Del Toro, Spielberg, Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everyone who was like, you realize this is how movies are made. They're shot and filmed, but without someone to put a cohesive movie together, it's just a bunch of film.
Yeah, it's just people on screen. Josh, what do you think when you heard about this?
Well, when I first heard about it, I can understand the backlash, and it's like, well, that seems kind of unfair of them to do. These categories are just as important.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also understand from the Academy's point of view why they would do something like that. I think as the years have gone by, they know the ratings have gone down. They're trying to streamline as best they can, just to make the show shorter.
And the show runs what, like
it goes
3 hours
on
or
and
something?
on.
It'll be over 3 hours now with these.
Right. It just goes forever, and they want to streamline it. And they were probably thinking, well, maybe we can just make some cuts, make it shorter, and that will make people happy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also cutting out something that's actually very important, too.
Well, I think it's like what Tim said. These are the things that make the movie.
It is. This is just as important as Best Actor or
Yes.
Best Song. It's
Very
just
much
as
so.
important. It's a part of the movie. But I think it also shows things that people don't like about the Oscars is all the pomp and circumstance that's going on in there. It's all about the stars. It's all about the movie stars.
Right.
It's all about looking good. It's all about who's dating who went there with who, what are they wearing? You know, it's like, well, okay, this is ridiculous. You're
it's
highlighting
almost like the Super Bowl, where it's less about the game and more about the pre-show, the post-show, the halftime show.
Yeah, who cares?
It's all about the show.
If anybody asked me who was at the halftime show, but now the Oscars were becoming too much, right? And you got all these people going up on stage, and I think it's mostly actors.
Yeah.
Getting on their soapbox, talking about their politics.
Yeah.
Don't care. And
I think that's what's driven viewership down.
Oh yeah, plenty of people are going to disagree with me and say that, well, this is their soapbox. This is their way of getting their message out. But I think there's a
time and a place.
Time and a place for that kind of thing. And the Oscars, which is an industry award show, is not the place to talk politics.
It's not a political ground at all.
No. And what was it, 2 years ago when Leonardo DiCaprio did his thing on global warming after he'd won for the Revenant?
I don't remember.
Well, he did. He said, "Whoa, thank you," and The Revenant was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. We had to go down to the most southern part of South America to find snow. Global warming is real. I was like, oh my God, there he goes. Okay. Then, the crowd starts to slowly go, oh yeah, we agree. I'm like, okay, don't need to hear that. Just a thank you would have sufficed. And I've told
Do they even thank their moms anymore?
I don't think so. And I've pointed this out to Justin a few times. I don't know, maybe you're aware of it, Tim. Back in the late 70s, I think it was Vanessa Redgrave had won an Oscar for something. And she went on a tirade about something that was happening at the time.
You're talking about during the
Oscars, after she'd won. She was getting booze. But she was also getting applause too. But it just went on and on for a few minutes, unnecessary. And so, Patty Chayefsky, who's a screenwriter and a playwright, came out. He was the next presenter. Came out and said, "Shame on you," something along those lines. That was unnecessary. All he had to do was say thank you. Do not abuse the Oscars like this. So I don't need to see that. I completely agree with him. And he got the place erupted in applause. It's like, thank you. Someone's saying it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he didn't care if people hated him or not.
Sounds like they loved him.
Well, they loved it, but he didn't care. He's like, this is ridiculous. Just say thank you. That's all you needed to do, Vanessa Redgrave. He called her out. He's like, that's all you needed to do. So,
do you want to be that guy right now, though, following DiCaprio and going, shame on you, DiCaprio. Yes, global warming's terrible, but we're not here for that.
I'm just enough of an asshole. I think I would. Because it's unnecessary.
Frankly, I believe you would.
I know you do. I know.
And then, unlike back then, though, people are so PC, they'll be like, well, wait, if we agree with Josh, then that means we are for global warming. Therefore, we have to boo him and destroy his career.
Well, yeah, people are too afraid of offending people nowadays. God. Particularly nowadays in PC Culture Part 2, which I don't think the first... I think the sequel is shameful. I think the first PC was just fine.
Yeah.
Back when it was actually... When we had PCU,
when
the movie, when it actually meant something. And now it's just like a tired retread.
We're not gonna protest.
Gutter is a tool.
We don't eat meat. Why don't we eat it?
Because it's murder.
That is not a protest. That is a cry for help. They're begging us. Throw a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid. Well,
I've got it, guys. Everybody gets laid.
Well, then off of that, you go with Kevin Hart.
Right, yeah, the Kevin Hart thing. Yeah, the whole there's no host. There's no host this year.
Yeah, guys, this I think is really a sign of things to come with this whole thing. Kevin Hart, I gotta say, I agree with him 100%. I think he had an issue. He addressed it. It was done. It was a closed issue, and then someone had to bring this up and insist, and the Academy insisted that he apologize publicly so they could then put him on the show. And he very politely, very professionally said, "No, thank you,"
because he already took care of it.
He already took care of it, and
I thought he did issue some kind of statement, like
only to say, "I'm not going to apologize."
Pretty much was, "I already took care of it. This was then. I'm not the same person I was."
Right, but that was more along the lines of. I thought that was along the lines of the apology that they were wanting.
No,
they wanted a flat out. They wanted an actual apology.
And like I said, he did it very professionally.
Yeah,
he just said, "Thank you." No.
Yeah, he did have a point. He said,
Look, then they came back. Correct me, Tim, if I'm wrong. They came back and they offered it to him again, didn't they? After it all blew over, and he still said, "No, I'm sorry, I'm out."
I truthfully would have watched the Oscars with him on, and I think he would have been an amazing host. And to sit there and just drag something up that was said at a different time and throw today's judgment on it.
Without a host, how are they going to do this show?
They've done it before.
Without a host?
Without a host, yeah.
Honestly, I can't remember.
Well, it obviously hasn't happened in a little while.
Right.
So I think it'll be fine. I don't mind missing Kevin Hart. I don't particularly like Kevin Hart. He's not my style of funny. But I agree with Justin. I think that what he did, his response was the best way to go.
Yeah.
Don't apologize. Exactly. I mean, you can be regretful of things that you said, but he made a point in saying, "Look, that was me then. I'm growing."
I think you missed the point.
What?
He had already apologized for it, like in the past.
Oh,
when it got brought up.
Oh, I see.
Sometime before.
I missed that part.
He had already publicly said, like Tim said, I was younger then. These are all things he had said previously, and he's like, "I've already addressed it."
Yeah,
guys.
don't drag somebody over the coals for something they said
just because he's in a
long time ago. That's not fair.
Yeah.
No.
They could just get The Rock. Everyone loves The Rock. We all know everything he does is part of his plan to rule the universe.
Why not? The man doesn't stop.
He'll probably be president soon.
That's no joke. He might.
He really could be. I think he could be.
Him and Tom Hanks.
Wouldn't need a Secret Service.
Tom Hanks would be an amazing president.
No, you have Tom Hanks be the vice president.
Ooh.
Let Tom Hanks run NASA.
Let him run NASA?
That's what the vice president does. They run NASA.
Is that right?
Is that true?
That's pretty much their biggest thing besides being next in line is they're in charge of NASA.
Well, I've been schooled. I did not know that. He would love that. He wanted to play Zephram Cochrane in First Contact.
That's
did you
true.
know that?
I did not know that.
I don't know if he bowed out or if the producers were like, you're actually so big, you will overshadow the movie.
There's some of those stars that are closet Star Trek fans, and you find out, and you're like, really? Like when I found out Eddie Murphy was a Star Trek fan.
Well, that's a random one.
Like, and sometimes little Star Trek bits will end up in his movies. Did you notice that? Like when he did Daddy Daycare.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the kid spoke Klingon.
Yeah, there's Star Trek bits in there.
Oh, wow.
Like,
All
that's
right.
probably because of Eddie Murphy.
He. Do you not remember the kid speaking Klingon for the entire movie?
No. Actually, wait. Have I even seen it?
Surprised since you
How
have.
can
I don't
you
think
not
I
have
have.
seen Daddy
Son.
Daycare?
I know he was almost in Star Trek 4.
Right.
Not that that has anything to do with this topic at hand.
Yeah,
but
we were talking about the Oscars. So back to that. I think it's a good idea that they're trying to streamline it, but I think they went about it the wrong way. I think what they need to do is to issue a private statement to everyone
to
saying,
all the celebrities.
yes, do not
Use this as a forum.
as a platform for your politics. Please just say thank you and make it short.
Yeah.
That's all we need. People do not need to hear that. We're trying to keep this show short.
If they want to talk that sort of stuff, do it on the red
Right.
carpet before or
It's
after.
like you have Twitter,
Yeah.
you have Facebook, you can do it there. It's
good
like we're
point.
trying to keep this show tight, so please limit yourself to, a minute, please. Can you do that for us? And I think that would probably save them a lot of time.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
If they could just stop these guys from just
Right.
yammering on and on. They'll play the music, and whoever's talking will ignore it and just keep talking, It is sad. And like we kind of said at the top of the show, the Oscars went from something genuinely celebrating the art form to a show, just like the news. It stopped becoming, it stopped being about the topic
And becoming about entertainment.
entertainment. Yes, exactly. And I don't know if they're ever going to get back to things. I think once it's gone, I think the Oscars, honestly, this is my personal opinion, I think the Oscars they'll still exist as an award, but I think the show will eventually be replaced in the public consciousness by something else. Just like different news channels, like back in the day, oh, you want to watch the news, it's Channel 5 or whatever. Well, not anymore. Now everyone watches CNN or whatever, some other news channel. What I'm saying is that there will be some other show or awards created that will be more serious. It'll be the MTV2, the one that actually plays music. There'll be an awards of some kind that just sticks to awards and genuinely celebrates the art form rather than the show, which will still exist, but it's a totally different thing. It's MTV 1 and 2. That's what I think. Because I think people do want that. We are all film fans. I would actually watch an award show where they just talked about the awards or made it brief or whatever. I like these people. I want to see them celebrated. I just don't want to see the soapbox stuff. That's what I think.
I can't imagine that happening. That seems like too much of a separation. Mm-hmm. I think there's parts of it that I do enjoy. I don't enjoy them now. It's become way too bloated.
Yeah.
I don't watch them. I mean, I stopped watching them years ago. When I was younger, I remember thinking when like Billy Crystal would host, and he would do bits, and they were funny, and that was a part of the show.
Yeah.
And it was a fun time
For sure.
and people seemed to be having a good time. Sure, some of it was boring, but it did have a sense of fun to it. So that part I like. And I think one that I watched in its entirety almost was the one where Seth MacFarlane did the hosting job. I think I can't remember. It was, and he did a good job. He made it fun for the most part, but it was still too long.
Oh yeah. I mean, the host can only save so much.
Right. He can't, yeah. So I miss that sense of fun, that sense of grandeur, and it's kind of, I think, just fallen away. And now people are kind of annoyed by how long it is, by how bloated it is, by how political it's become again. So unless they decide to change, I don't think it's. I think it's going to go further down.
I agree.
I think
What do you
so.
think, Tim?
I agree with you both, but there are times it depends on what movie it is. Because if Spike Lee wins for Black Klansman, how's he not supposed to talk about racism? Because that's what that entire movie is.
Oh God, I hate.
But just because I don't care for him either. But just because the movie was about racism doesn't mean he needs to use that as a platform to talk about it. He can just said, "I had a great time making the movie. There's great people behind it. Thank you."
Of course, he
for
won't do
acknowledging."
that.
But I'm saying that's all you're supposed to do. He doesn't have to talk about the topic of the movie.
Yeah.
Go see the movie if you want to see that topic. I mean, God forbid he talk about anything that's not racism related. But
was it really nominated for Best Picture?
I didn't see it.
Best director.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And why did they suddenly change?
Black Panther.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Why did they suddenly change the amount of nominees for Best Picture? It used to be 5 for the
How
longest
many
time.
is it now?
Now it's like 10 or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's increased. Or maybe 8, but it used to be just 5. That was the number for years.
Now that you say it, though, I seem to recall hearing something saying that there's just so many good movies out there. We have to do our best to include, have enough room for the really standout ones,
Yeah, and something about the idea of, I can understand you wanting to call it best, like best actor, best picture. But people will take that and run with it and say, well, it's the best. I'm not talking about people in the Academy, but people watching the show or people reading about it will say, oh, this is the best movie. He was the best actor because they say so. But it's just an industry award show. They're the ones saying it.
They're the ones voting for it.
Yes, it's no like you didn't vote for this. It's so when somebody tells me that, Schindler's List is the best picture, I'm like, well, I don't think so. I don't like watching Schindler's List. I find it to be incredibly depressing. I don't want to see it. I don't think it's the best picture. I think it's a very good movie. Mm-hmm. The best? No. I think a lot of movies that I think are really good, nobody has ever seen. And why don't they get awards?
Because they don't have a marketing campaign to sell to the voters.
You and I are big fans of a movie called Space Station 76. Mm-hmm. No one's seen it.
No one's even heard of it.
I think it's a great movie. Did anybody give a crap when it came out? No.
Yeah.
It's been forgotten.
Yeah.
So, the fact that we're accepting these labels.
Did you find information?
Yes.
Oh.
8.
8?
It's up to 8 now.
8.
I bet you that grows in the next year or two. Mm-hmm. It goes up to 10.
Well, they're throwing in these movies where they're not going to win. Black Panther.
No,
it's not going to win.
It was a fun movie.
Well, the Academy is so hoity-toity. Like, we just need it's got to be a period piece. They have to be in the Victorian era. They're wearing costumes. I know they're wearing costumes in Black Panther.
I don't mind that Black Panther's a superhero movie.
But no. That long-standing.
You've never seen a comedy voted or nominated for Best Picture.
Annie Hall.
Is that a comedy? Or is it more of a drama?
Dramedy.
Okay.
Whatever. But it's usually a drama that wins, right? It's a very serious movie.
Yeah.
They don't give funny movies Best Picture, right? I think that... I think The Naked Gun, I think Airplane were definitely worthy of Best Picture.
The Big Lebowski should have
those
won.
Things were hilarious.
Yes.
And
they've stood the test
I never want to
time.
watch Schindler's List again. I love watching Airplane.
We had friends in the audience, and they said you were laughing during Schindler's List.
It's a bit
Seinfeld.
of a... I know, it's a bit of a dated reference. I got it.
All right. I agree. I think it's going downhill. I think the PC nature of the whole thing has also ruined it. I have nothing against Black Panther the movie. I think it was a good, fun movie. I own it, but I don't think it's worthy of being nominated for Best Picture. I think it's in there, quite frankly, to appease the political.
It's a political move.
It's a political move to appease the political correctness people, and I think that. I don't want to sound like I'm trashing the movie when I say this, but it's a pity vote. And
how do you mean?
It didn't deserve to be there. It's a good movie, but it does not deserve to be there. If I'm the filmmakers behind it, I'd feel very awkward about it because I know why I'm there. it's cool to be nominated, of course, if I'm the filmmakers, but I also know I'm here because I'm a black filmmaker. It's a movie centered around black characters. That's why I'm here. Not just because the movie was good, but because of that. And that's a horrible reason to nominate a movie. And we all know it. Everyone knows why that movie is in that nominations list.
Okay, I thought it was also more along the lines of, well, we're acknowledging the comic book sector.
No,
you know,
I don't
the
think it had
big
anything to do with
blockbuster, the
comic
big.
books.
That would
Epic
not be
movie.
the movie
No.
to
It's not.
accept.
Well, I haven't seen it, so
I have it, all Marvel's normal problems with their villains and the story and everything. It wasn't. It wasn't what everyone says it's cracked up to be. It's good and enjoyable, but it has massive Marvel problems.
It does. And, I mean,
What else was? Do you have the
I have the
information,
list.
Tim? What else
Yes.
was nominated?
Okay. Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
I have not seen any of those.
a couple of those I've never even heard of.
I've heard of everything but Roma. And I've seen
I
most
would
of
bet
these.
even money, because I don't know what those other ones are, which mean they're not going to win.
The Favorite is the period piece.
It's going to be
Right.
Bohemian Rhapsody, I
Oh,
think.
God, I hope so.
And I saw that. It wasn't that good.
That's what people said, not Tim.
It was-
but
Not Tim. Tim enjoyed that very much.
I'm not saying it was,
I think it's going to be that or A Star is Born.
it was not a bad movie by any means, but it just felt rather run of the mill, like kind of
what
a
I heard.
biopic.
Yeah.
I was like, well, oh, here's the part where they wrote this song,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, okay, but it wasn't anything inventive. There was, you know, what's a really good biopic? Steve Jobs. With Michael Fassbender. Holy shit, that movie is awesome. It doesn't tell a straightforward narrative. It takes elements and combines it in a way that didn't actually happen, but is based on true events. That's a way to do a good biopic. Not just do a linear.
To this day, I still think the best biopic ever made was Walk Hard.
Oh well, that's true.
I mean, does it get better than Walk Hard, the story of Dewey Cox?
Oh no, that scene where he ripped off all the sinks. Yeah.
Dewey, if you rip that sink off the wall, I will leave you.
I'm gonna walk hard.
Are you writing a song right now?
Don't leave me. That's not a bad song either.
Like, no laugh at all. Wow.
No, not at all. It's a beautiful ride.
What do you mean I don't love you? I got you a giraffe.
And you never paid for drugs.
Not once.
Not once. All right, so Tim, what do you think out of that list? What do you think has the best chance of winning?
Most likely A Star is Born.
You think
Why?
so?
It had a good story. It's a retelling of a retelling of a retelling of a... It's a remake of, I think, like the third
This is
remake
like
of
the
his
fourth
version.
one, I
Yeah, the
think.
fourth.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper was amazing. I've always liked Lady Gaga when she acts. Ever since American Horror Story Hotel.
Are you saying, do you think that will win because it deserves it? Or do you think it will win because of, you know,
I
Oscar
truthfully
PC?
would like
butt
Bohemian
kissery?
Rhapsody to win. I enjoyed that movie very much. But I think A Star is Born would
It's going to take it.
earn it. Just earns it more.
Well, I wish that we would stop using this award show as the standard by which to judge something. It's far too ubiquitous nowadays, where we take like box office statistics or YouTube likes or whatever, and you're like, you know, I think that it's a bad idea that YouTube will show how many subscribers somebody has or how many views a video has. It's going to influence whether or not you click on that.
Yes.
That's a good point. That's
Very
a
much
Heavily influenced. Like, oh, if you see it only has 5 views, well, I'm not going to watch that. It must
How
suck.
good could it be? Yeah.
Like, oh, this has 5 million views. I'm going to check this out.
And-
They say it's the best picture. I have to watch this.
And the other thing is, you don't even have to win just to be nominated. They get to slap that on every movie they
Yeah.
do.
They do.
Right,
Oscar
they will.
nominated Adam Driver.
Right.
In Star Wars Episode 9, Oscar nominated Adam Driver now.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the same way they did with Siskel and Ebert. They put that 2 thumbs up
Yep.
on that box, you know, and you're like, oh, well, they like it. It must be good. I like
and-
those 2 thumbs.
And now that's Rotten Tomatoes.
But that was a good gimmick, though.
Yeah. it is
That's
right.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, God, I hate Rotten Tomatoes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's
man.
ridiculous.
Oh,
I hate
Siskel and
it.
Ebert had so much more class.
Oh,
Seriously,
for sure.
they at least would explain to you why they hated it. This is just, oh, we don't like this movie. The fans do, but we hate it.
Oh yeah, and the studios hate Rotten Tomatoes. They'll get that.
Yeah.
They'll get that. Oh, it got 30%. We're doomed.
Exactly.
Well, that's terrible.
you get-
I know it ruins.
Look
it ruins
at
it
ruins
for them.
movies.
Look at Venom.
Was it low?
Venom got a low critic score, but a high fan score in almost the 80s. The fans enjoyed it more than the critics did. It's like, why are we letting you tell us what to watch?
Which is the Golden Globes? Is that the one where the people vote, not the industry
I
insiders?
think you're thinking of the People's
That's
Choice
the People's
Awards.
Choice Awards.
That one holds more cred to me than the other ones because we are the voters in theory. You know, wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, yeah, but nobody cares about the People's Choice Awards.
Exactly.
That's true. But maybe something like that show, like I was saying earlier, could be built up to be more important because
then it will become the Oscars.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it will become what the Oscars are now.
Or just change how the Oscars are voted.
It's like when Walmart first started, it all nice and small, and then it became the global killer that destroys all other stores.
Right.
If you changed, right, I was about to bring up Walmart, but if you change how the Academy gets to its decision, you change the very nature of the show. It's called the Academy Awards. It's their awards.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's why it's called the People's Choice. It wouldn't be the same show anymore.
Yeah, I suppose so. But what if the Academy? What if they changed it where the Academy nominated the movies, but the populace voted for the final
The
winners?
people are still choosing who won.
I mean, I would like to see the Oscars where it's actual, not where there's no politicalness behind the voting. It's the actual people that, think it deserved to win. But I don't know. I get maybe you guys are right. Maybe that'll never happen.
I don't think it will.
It's a shame.
I mean, this is Hollywood we're talking about here. Everything's an artifice.
Yeah,
Maybe not everything, but most things can't be trusted. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Seriously.
Oh, fine.
I'm going to start calling you Tim seriously.
Seriously?
I don't know if you've noticed how many times
I'm super
You
serial,
say-
you
Is
guys.
that your catchline?
I say it a lot. I
you're
know
Tim,
I do.
You're Tim seriously.
Tim, seriously?
I say it a lot. I do. I know I do.
Seriously?
No, but it's always with like doubt. Seriously? Like that. I'm sorry, Tim.
Hey, no, I know I do.
Well, I think I've said everything I want to say about the Oscars. I'll just bow out now. Josh, any final thoughts?
Well, I think it's a good decision that they brought it back. I think the backlash was. So we're going back to the original topic of the.
You forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've gone so far off the original topic, but that they brought back the categories that they initially decided to suspend or what have you. I think it's a good idea that they brought it back. I think the next step now is to do what I suggested.
A correct, proper thinning out.
Yes, properly thin it out. Get rid of all the excess and just have a little fun. Have fun, but just cut out all the unnecessary bits. Will they get there? No. I don't think so.
Right.
No. I mean, to me, I don't think it'll ever be as entertaining as when they announce the wrong movie.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, oh my God, this is why I watched the show. I was like, for this stuff that's not planned.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a good moment.
That
Well, I
one,
mean, in
yeah.
a bad way. But
Yeah.
that's because I like train wrecks.
Like John Travolta's Adele
Oh,
Dazeem thing.
when he and then the next year when he like groped her or something, and it was like weird again.
Oh, yeah. He like went in for a kiss or something. She was like,
It's
what
just
the
what
hell
are you doing? Get
doing?
away from me, weirdo. Anyway, Tim, what do you anything you'd like to close out on?
I understand the reason why they wanted to cut it. They chose the wrong categories to cut.
Yeah.
And honestly, do we really need to have a live performance of every single song that is nominated? The people know the music.
I don't know. I think those are good ones to keep in there.
Sometimes I don't mind that.
Keeps the show fun. I don't think we necessarily need to see 10 minutes worth of and I know I sound like a jerk when I say it, but we don't need to see best French foreign film, foreign language thing. That's wonderful, but honestly, it's not. We're talking like 2%.
You uncultured
Swine. I'm just saying.
You know what I think we could do without is all that red carpet nonsense before.
That doesn't count as the show, though. That's something
not.
totally different.
Well, it's still there. Like, I don't need to see them walking down to go inside the building. Like, why do I care?
But that's the pre-show. That's not the game.
It's
pre-show.
No, it's just, to me, it's a sign of what people are considering valuable. Do I need to see people walking into a building down a red carpet? No. Do I need to see what clothes they're wearing? Don't care. Don't care. Yeah, she's beautiful. Okay, where'd you get the dress? Don't care. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I got it. Walmart.
Jean-Paul Gaultier. Anyway, if you like the show, please give us a rating in iTunes. Hit the subscribe button for us. We have a Twitter now.
Twitter.
What's the Twitter handle?
Pop Culture on Blast.
All right, just hit us up on there if you want to
Show ideas.
Yeah, show ideas or just spread the show. Help us.
Share it with your friends.
Help it grow. Or you can email us directly at pconblast@gmail.com. Also, we've switched hosts. We're now on Libsyn, so you can find us on the internet, on the interwebs. It's popcultureonblast.libsyn.com. Until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Tim.